Evidently, watching too much TV can lead people to overestimate the risks that the world poses to them. A recent study found that people are more likely to think that they will be victims of a natural disaster if they watch an above average amount of TV than if they do not. All right, what's our conclusion here?
First sentence.
Yes. And we're supporting it with this study.
Yes.
What does this remind you of? Like, can you think of an analogy of it might, like, I'm thinking of whenever I watch SVU or Criminal Minds, I'm like way more likely to think I'm gonna get killed by a serial killer than if I don't. like that's what I'm thinking of at least. Anyways, what before we even, I know that this is a weekend question, but before we even get to that, what is the flaw in this argument?
Does that study, we can attack the study?
What are they saying about TV?
That makes people overestimate the risks that they're
That it
exposed to.
causes, right? They're saying that watching TV causes people to overestimate the risk, correct?
Okay.
Do you agree with that? So the support that we give is that people are more likely to think they will be a victim of a natural disaster if they watch an above average amount of TV. Well, is it the fact that why might people, so this might be true, this study might be true, but do you think that it's the TV that's causing them to believe that a natural disaster is going to happen to them? Or maybe people that live in areas where there is a lot of natural disasters just watch more TV because they want to know what's going on. So for example, if I live...
No, I understand what you're saying, but why would we think like that? I mean, that's not...
Because the support we're giving for our conclusion is causal. And so the reason that I'm thinking about this flaw before I try to weaken it is I want to expose this flaw.
The flaw, okay.
And it might not be the
okay,
answer. So I just want to practice seeing flaws. So because if you can see them quicker, if we can expose this flaw, we will destroy this argument. Like
okay,
if we can,
so hold on. So it's a causal relationship. I get it. So there's a cause and an effect. So maybe this causation is not correct.
Correct. It's just because there's a correlation between the amount of TV watched and people believing natural disasters doesn't mean that TV is causing it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I didn't see that, and I usually see that. Got it.
Well, I think it's because it deep down it makes like it. This is like the ice cream example, right? It makes logic, like to us it makes sense. You're like, yeah,
right.
Because I gave you I misled you by telling you the SVU example, right? Criminal Minds, like it makes sense, but just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's valid.
Valid, correct. Yes. All right. So I'm going to go through the answers. I'm not going to look at what I answered, okay? Many people overestimate the dangers that the world possesses to them, regardless of the amount of TV they watch. No. It's just...
Correct, because what does many mean on the LSAT?
It's like some.
Yeah, I say many means many things. We don't really know.
Yeah, it's very subjective. What means many to you can mean something else to me. Correct. Like, oh, there's many people in this city. And I will be like, It's
Yeah,
the
if you're from New York or Boston or Washington,
right.
you'll be like, what? And I'm like, wow, there's so many people here. Good example.
All right. B, a person is less likely to live in an area that is prone to natural disasters if that person watches an above average amount, so more TV, than if that person watches less TV. No, it's just all sorts of wrong. I don't even know where to start with that is wrong. C, people who watch a below average amount of TV tend to have a fairly accurate idea of the likelihood that they will be victims of a natural disaster. Okay.
Does that
But,
matter though?
huh?
Does that matter?
No, because we're looking to weaken the causal relationship, right?
Right. And and we don't care about people who watch a below, like just
Yeah, then that doesn't
because they're
matter.
accurate
Yes.
doesn't mean anything
I
about.
think that's the one that I chose. All right, the people who are well informed about the risks posed by natural disasters tend to have become well informed in some way other than by watching television. That's irrelevant. A person is more likely to watch an above average, so more TV, if that person lives in an area that is prone to natural disaster than if that person lives in an area that is not. So that's what we were talking about.
Yes. And do you see how, because we found the flaw, this directly exposes it?
This is okay.
Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.